welcome to Nightmare Stories of the Otherside. Joining us today, we have Tina and Marcus Tibbetts, the co-owners at Journey into the Haunted LLC. Tina is the president of a Mustang club and, of course, a paranormal investigator. Marcus enjoys golf, RC cars, and working in IT. Welcome in, Tina and Marcus. Tell us a bit more about yourselves and what you get up to.
Well, yeah, like you said, I am the president of a Ford Mustang club here in the Siouxland area. The club's been around for 15, 16 years now?
Since 2000.
Yeah, so, that's
2010.
That's something we both really enjoy. We actually met over a Ford Mustang. We've got a lot of weird stories about how our paths seemingly crossed before we actually met, and they're all kind of tied back to a Mustang, which is kind of crazy. But we have 3 Mustangs now. We call them our babies, and we're getting ready to kick off some spring fun here with those. So I'm really excited about that. And let's see, besides that, I kind of stay involved with photography. I enjoy that, and then we just spend all our time together. So we have a lot of hobbies that are just kind of ours. One of us gets interested in something and the other one just kind of eventually comes around. So he's recently kind of gotten into RC cars again. And that's been really fun. That's just been in the last year.
Started with 1 and we currently have 10.
No, maybe that one.
I got to think. 7. We have 7.
Yeah. So
and another one on the way.
And then in our free time, we try to do some investigations. We run the business on the side. I work full time as well in finance. So we try and cram all this into our time, but we also enjoy travel a lot too, and just kind of getting out to new places and seeing what we can find. What else you got, Marcus?
Nothing.
Boring. You are kind of boring,
yeah.
But I drag him along. I try and make him fun.
Maddie's over here laughing.
She knows it's true now because she's met Marcus.
She's had to deal with him twice now.
Yeah. Yeah, you're stuck with him now.
I don't know. Will he be part of the... Well, he won't be part of the revenge plot probably, but that's all right.
You just never know.
Okay.
Yeah. For those watching that may not know what the revenge plot is, we were at a location with these guys, and we were asleep on the second floor of the Boyd House in Minnesota, and we wake up and nobody's in the house, and they bailed on us in the middle of the night, and I just thought they wanted to get back home, and then we find out watching another podcast episode that they had heard footsteps and banging and all kinds of stuff up on the floor we were sleeping on, and we were sound asleep the whole night. So they just bailed.
Just let the ghosts have their friends and abandon us.
Yeah.
That was actually all her.
Hey, no, you're the one that didn't tell them. It's not my fault. It's not my fault.
I thought I told them.
Okay, well, I have no way of telling them, so that part is not my fault whatsoever.
But you're the one who bailed.
Yeah, after I left, I thought that for sure they'd be there till sunup.
Yeah.
I mean, you're the one who was driving, so technically you could have said no.
I tried saying no.
No, you didn't.
But that's okay.
You should.
I'm still not hearing a good enough reason to bail.
Somebody was freaked out.
That's right. We'll get our revenge.
We will. I've already been plotting.
After this, I just might not ever talk to you again. So.
Anyways, we'll get back to the Boyd House in a little bit.
No, we won't.
Why?
Because I'm too tired for that.
She says she's too tired.
Speaking of the Boyd House, have you seen that they're having a convention out there this fall?
I did. That, yeah, that'll be interesting.
Yeah,
we
were one of the first people to get table for it.
Oh, nice.
I
think I had looked and it didn't kind of work with our schedule and stuff. So,
sure.
Yeah, that'll be cool. I'm glad they're giving it a shot and hope they have a lot of support for it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's start the beginning. I know a ton of your stories and beginnings because we've been talking for what, 2 years now? Is it like? I think I don't know.
Wow.
I think
Yeah.
Could be. Yeah, that's
It's
crazy.
about 2 years.
so. Let's jump back to how you got into the paranormal all those years ago.
Well, it started with me, and it actually started through the Ford Mustang Club. I became friends with somebody who had come along and joined the club, and I'm friends with most all of our members on Facebook, anyways. And he came out, nice guy, and all of this. We friended on Facebook, and then I started seeing posts that he was out doing investigations and whatnot. And I was really interested in his findings and the places that he was going. I don't so much anymore because I just don't have the time, but I used to watch, Ghost Hunters and uh, Destination Fear and what's the other one with Ryan Buell? Paranormal State. I loved
Penn
Paranormal
State.
So I used to watch a lot of that stuff, and I was probably the last person you would ever think would go into a haunted location. I just grew up scared of everything, scared of the dark. I wanted nothing to do with any of this stuff. And so I was just really intrigued by the things that were happening to him. And he kept saying, if you think some people from the Mustang Club would want to come down and take a tour somewhere, like I could arrange that. I'm like, wow, that's kind of cool. And we try to do different things with our Mustang Club. So we had put together this event, and it was a year in advance, and started putting it on Facebook. And it grew so quickly beyond just our club. And I kept asking him, I'm like, well, we've got these people asking, can they come? And he just, sure, yeah. And I kept checking with him along the way. And when it was all said and done and the day came, we drove down and we met in this huge parking lot. I don't know where it was, but we rolled in there and my jaw like literally dropped. Like we went around and counted, and there were 68 Ford Mustangs sitting in this lot waiting for us to lead them on. And it was just like, holy cow. And I know there was over 125 people there.
Not including the 20 cars or whatever we brought
that was
with us.
Yeah. And so from there, if you've been to Villisca or seen the Villisca Axe Murder House, it's a very small place. And I had never been there before that. But we drove over to Villisca, and parking 68 Ford Mustangs in a little teeny tiny itty bitty town like Villisca. We had the whole like block surrounded, and they were down the streets, and like it was wild. It was awesome. They kind of
yeah, the town didn't know what to do with us. That's for sure.
And we kind of had them, they stood outside and just kind of addressed the group and gave a history and stuff. And then everybody kind of took a turn to just walk through the house. And then after that, we all drove over to Malvern Manor, and they had put cones down Main Street in Malvern that said reserve parking for the Ford Mustang Club, which I thought was really cool because there was a parking issue over there too.
Yeah.
But so we did that, and it was just fascinating what my friend Robert had set up for everybody. They had different groups that rotated, and people were demonstrating the different devices and all of that stuff. And he had asked me, he's like, once this is over, my friends and I that are helping with the tours are going to spend the night there. I'm like, you guys are nuts. And he's like, if you ever want a chance to do this, you can stay. And I wanted nothing to do with that. And he kind of started with teasing me about it and stuff. And by the time the whole year came by and we were right down to the last like 3 weeks before the event, I finally just thought, why not? When am I going to get a chance to do something like this? And I can leave whenever I want to leave. And, I've built a trust with this guy. Like, I felt comfortable doing that. And so I finally said, okay. And I spent the night, and it was probably the worst first night for a paranormal investigator in a location because every single thing you can imagine happened. So, you kind of always wait for that one time to come along throughout your time period of investigating. And I had that all in one night. We had people get scratched. We had shadow figures. We had the whole gamut of everything.
Somebody got pushed. Somebody got touched. Yeah.
It was nuts. It was absolutely nuts. And I was scared to death. I mean, I went and I told Mark I need a flashlight. We went to Walmart and I bought the biggest flashlight you can find. It's now his workshop flashlight. I showed up with that thing and everybody was just laughing at me because it was ridiculous. But I was that afraid, and the people I encountered that night, him and his friends were so very kind to me and taught me about everything. And they didn't push me. Like, I seriously sat in a corner with my arms crossed because I didn't want nothing touching me. I don't know if I said a word that night unless we were in the safe room, because I didn't want to interact with anything. I just wanted to be the fly on the wall that night. And it was absolutely fascinating to me. And so, he had said, you're either going to be hooked by this or you're going to never want to do it again. And that was probably 8 years ago. He started inviting me out to other things that he and his friends were doing. And I just kept saying yes and going along. And then kind of an unexpected side effect of everything was I fell in love with these old buildings. And as a photographer, the beauty of these old buildings and the things that were left behind. I mean, it was just, and traveling. I love to travel. So it was like a combination of all these things that I really enjoyed wrapped up into this investigation trip. And then meeting the people along the way. I mean, we've met some of the most amazing people through the paranormal and through our small business. And it's just been amazing. And, Mark and I kind of we've always done everything together. That's just how we've always been. But, when it came to this, he was just kind of like, meh, I'm not really that interested in it. But if you want to go ahead. And so it kind of pushed me to be a little more independent. And I've done it for about 6 years by myself. And then the last couple of years, he's been kind of coming out and stuff. And I kept telling him too, besides the investigation and all that, once you meet these people that are out here in the field and see what wonderful people they are and how much fun we have together and the stories we can share, you're going to enjoy it. And so I kind of drug him along and and then do you want to talk about the music box?
Mm-mm.
You're going to fall asleep? Am I boring you?
No, just go right ahead. Just keep on talking. And I don't have to.
And so when I started too, like, I didn't have equipment, and I was really lucky too that all the people I would go with had everything. I didn't even need to go buy stuff. I'd just hang out and, fly on the wall scenario again. And as I started to branch out a little bit more and want things, I've got a lot of hobbies and I've got to spread my money around pretty thin to what I'm putting it into. And that's kind of where the music box came in. I saw people with those on investigations, and they are the coolest things. I absolutely loved them, but I just didn't have that money to put towards that. And so Mark, with his techie brain, I kind of challenged him, hey, do you think you could make this for me? And he's like, no. And immediately his brain starts working. And within a short period of time, I had a music box. And then from there, people were wanting to buy them on investigations and things. And they started out back then. I know you guys have got some of our equipment. Yep. But when we first started, we were building everything in little wooden boxes. So Mark was out in the backyard drilling holes for all the components in the little boxes. And I was helping spray paint them. And it just kind of our business started to grow. We formed the LLC. And we needed something different because Nebraska winter was coming and we could not be outside spray painting and doing all of those things. So that's how we got into the 3D printing side and producing the boxes. And Mark.
And a chance we were in Kansas City, and by chance I got an ad on Facebook that they were selling a printer for $100. It's like, okay, well, you can't pass that. So
right.
This is either going to be we'll be okay, or we'll be able to get our money back out of it.
Yeah.
Because it was a $250 printer for $100. So kind of pushed us in that direction a little bit. And it's been good for us, actually.
Yeah. And when I was doing all this by myself, I'd always ask him, do you want to come along? No. And so one year for my birthday, he gave me a birthday card, and inside of it, it said that he would go on one investigation with me one time wherever I wanted to go. So of course, I'm going, okay, where's the biggest place I could possibly pick? And my first pick was actually Missouri State Penn, and he was planning to go to that with me. And being an IT guy there, of course, was an IT emergency that night before, and he couldn't leave town. And so my friend Robert from day one, who kind of got me into this, I called him quick and I'm like, hey, you want to go to Missouri State Penn? So we went to the Penn together. And then I, of course, made sure he knew he owed me an investigation. And so then since I had done the Penn, my next big one was Waverly Hills. So his introduction to the investigation world was Waverly Hills Sanatorium.
That's
Besides
a good
the
one.
fact that I was with you at Malvern the first time you ever went.
You didn't stay the night.
I didn't stay the night.
You didn't stay the
but-
night. He dropped me off and left. It was kind of funny that day because, again, I was scared to death, and I was standing outside watching all my friends in the Mustangs just drive away. And I'm like, okay, here we go.
Listening to him in the distance.
So what was your experiences at Waverly Hills?
So we had the first thing right off the bat. It was during COVID, right? So we had gone for the day tour that morning, and then there was an investigation that night. It was a group of people. But the first 45 minutes of the investigation, they basically did the same tour that we had done during the day. So when the time came for the investigation, they just turned us loose. So for a good hour, we were by ourselves in Waverly, right? So we were on the second floor, just rounded the corner, kind of where the nurses' station was that they all talk about.
Mhm.
And Tina's like, I want to investigate here. So she kind of sat down and got her recorders out and stuff. I'm like, okay, fine. So I wandered
I turned
clear
around, he's gone.
clear to the other end of the hallway. The other clear on the far end where it's got the big lobby where they had the meeting room or whatever. And I'm standing in there and I hear, hello? Like, hello? Nothing. You know, I heard it. I didn't see it. I didn't, nobody answered when I asked, is anybody there? That kind of thing. So I walked back towards Tina down the hallway, between the rooms, there's the open rooms and then the rooms in the back, and there's that hallway. I was walking down that hallway and I caught like a blue light out of the corner of my eye. And I stop and I back up and I look in the room, and the room is just covered. All the walls are windows are covered. There's no light getting in this room. So I walked in the room. I'm like, is anybody in here? Nothing. And just as I go to leave the room, we have those SLR cameras that have the lenses that you screw on.
Yeah.
The lens fell off of the camera, landed on the ground. I bent over, picked it up, screwed it back on the camera, asked a few more questions. Anybody here? Nothing. So I go to leave. And as I'm leaving, I kind of make note of where the room is because there was some like graffiti on the wall right by it. And I go back and I tell Tina, and she's like, well, nothing's happening here. I'm going to come with you because everything's happening around you. And we just kind of, we wandered the rest of the stuff. We caught a few noises here and there. I mean, some knocks. There wasn't anything major. Mm-hmm. We did the chute. There was some noise. Tina went clear to the bottom of the chute. I stayed at the top, and there were noises behind me at the top that she could hear. There was tapping when we were in the morgue. You were laying in the morgue, and then there was tapping on the side of the thing. But anyway, throughout the night, we would wander up and down those hallways, and they all look the same after a while, right?
Yeah.
Well, then we'd catch something. We'd catch a noise, or we'd catch a light, or we'd catch something. And every time we looked, it was by that room with the graffiti on it that I had marked from earlier in the day. It was crazy.
It was one of those incidences where you just feel like something is drawing you to a certain area of the building.
Yeah.
I've experienced that a couple of times, but it was just really bizarre.
And anytime we'd go in that room to actually investigate, we never got anything. It was only when we weren't paying attention and we were walking past it or something, it would draw us to it. But
yeah.
And it was the second floor. I can't think of the room number, but it was on the second floor.
Yeah, so he got broken in at Waverly Hills.
Waverly, yep.
You got broken into?
No, that was the first investigation that I was on.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought somebody broke in. That's what I thought you said.
No.
Breaking in, we were there.
When we were there, somebody tried breaking in. The alarm
and
started going off.
It was a public investigation too, so it's like 50 other people there, and people were still trying to break in.
And that was like at what, 2 or 3 in the morning, I think.
It was like 4.
But yeah, all of a sudden the alarms start going off, and it's like, what the heck's going on?
Oh, I would have freaked out. I'm a safety in numbers though kind of person, so knowing that there were 50 other people there, I would have maybe felt a little better.
Yeah, we just kept going about our business, like, whatever, who cares?
Yeah.
We were like up on the 4th floor. It doesn't matter to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did have something. There was that surgical room or whatever on the 4th floor. We kept getting weird stuff in there. I think we caught an EVP in there.
I think,
if I remember right.
But... Yeah.
So what are some other, not at Waverly, but throughout the years, what are some of your most memorable experiences and investigations?
I just had one at, I don't know why I get Fairfield County Infirmary and Madison Seminary. I get them switched because I did this crazy road trip in December and we did both of them. I'd have to look at my photos actually to remember which location this was at. But I was with the girls of Haunting Angels, Yvette and Sierra, and it was just the 3 of us. And those are 2 very large locations. So, we were all down in one room, and I went to go to the restroom, and I had to go clear back through the whole building. And it just, winding hallways, like there's just halls everywhere. And I come around this corner and I hear, hello. And I just stopped and I was like, the first thing I do is, did I really hear that? And I just thought, oh my God, that was the first time I ever heard a disembodied voice, like so clear that I couldn't deny it. And so I went down the hall, all those hallways, and it was so clear, like I thought somebody had gotten into the building. And so I'm kind of looking, nothing. And so, I use the restroom, go back, tell them what happened. Night goes on. It's hours later, and Sierra and I went to go back to like our main base again, clear back through the whole building. And I'm like, wouldn't it be wild if that happened again? We round that corner, I am not kidding you, and we hear hello, and we're like, this is insane. So, we were looking to see if somebody had some little device, set up when it had motion hit it that it says. We were looking for everything, and there was nothing. And that was it did it twice that night. And any other time we went back through that same area, it never happened again. But that one really kind of just stopped. It literally stopped me in my tracks, because that was kind of the first time I ever really can confidently say I've heard it. I've heard people say, oh, did you just hear that? That was a disembodied voice. And I've never heard it before. So that was kind of a big thing. That was cool.
The other one that kind of stands out in my mind was at Farrar. We had just finished investigating for the night. It was an event that we were helping host, and all the guests had gone home. So we were just winding down for the night, and everybody else was going to sleep. And they have kind of that common room or whatever on the 2nd floor. And everybody else was like going to hang out in there and go to bed and whatever. And Tina's like, I want to go sleep in the auditorium on the top floor. It's like, okay, fine. So we hauled all our stuff up. We had all of our equipment and everything. And the entrance to the auditorium at Farrar, there's 2 doors. There's, one door, kind of a separation, and then the other door. And to the left or to the right, there's a stage, and to the left, there's like a chalkboard or something on the back wall. And so we set our cots up between the 2 open doors, and we set our music boxes either direction. So it was pointing kind of towards the door and towards the auditorium, or towards the other door and the blackboard in the back corner. And probably 20 minutes into, just about ready to fall asleep, and the music box on my side goes off, and my side is the side with the chalkboard. So we flip the light on, look, check the hallway, make sure nobody came upstairs. Is anybody up here? Nothing. So we, and if you know anything about our music boxes, they play, they're infrared, they're motion, or not infrared, they're PIR sensors.
Yep.
And when they're set, when they detect motion, they play a tone of music, but it's like a 7-second, and then it stops unless it detects motion. It'll keep going. So anyway, just about 15 minutes after the first time, it goes off again, but this time it went off for like 30 seconds, right? It wasn't like a quick and it was done. So again, we're asking, we got our light, we're looking, nothing. I don't know. It had to have been maybe an hour and a half later. The music box goes off again, but this time it plays for a solid 8 minutes. I counted it. Every time it played again, I counted it, and it was at least 8 minutes that thing ran.
Crazy.
And we could not find anything. We had lights. We were looking in the corners. We were looking in the hallway. Nothing. And then
and you guys have been to Farrar, I think.
No.
Oh, you haven't? Okay. There's that big auditorium is a completely bare room. There's no furniture. It's just a big open room. So, my first thought when this started was, is there a mouse running around in here? But we totally would have seen it because there is not anything in there. It is literally a bare floor.
Yep. So we were, and then after the 8-minute one, it went off again one time, just real quick. And Tita's like, "Can you stop? We need to go to sleep." And then we hear this bang in the room, and then nothing the rest of the night. It went completely quiet. It was crazy.
It's probably like, fine, I'll just leave you alone.
Like, I will leave you alone. You got what you wanted. Yeah. But then after we got back home, because I hadn't researched anything about it, so I didn't know anything about it. But we had gotten back home and we watched Kindred Spirits, the episode with them in it, and found out that corner that the music box was pointed at is where they were getting all of their activity.
Yeah, there is a story of a gentleman that I believe lived in the area that I know he died in the right by Farrar.
Yeah, and then there was something about a principal or something too that.
Yeah, they catch
the shadow of the principal. And so we didn't know, but whatever they said in the Farrar, and they were saying it was in that back room or back corner. That's the area that our box was pointed. So if you watch that episode, we can confirm there's something back there.
So we'll be there in about a month, so that's good to know.
Is that the corner that the boiler room's in?
No, boiler room's down in the basement.
Oh,
boiler room's in the gym off the back side of the gym. Yeah.
Yep, you're right.
The auditorium's on the top floor. Pretty much most of the top floor. You come up the stairs and there's classrooms on the left and the auditorium is on the right side, but it's the whole length of the building.
Yeah, I thought it'd be cool if the music box went off once or twice. Like, oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, wouldn't it be cool if this music box goes off and then it's like, okay, we've had enough.
And then
we're
when
trying
it keeps
to sleep.
going, I'm like, for the love of God, just stop.
We've got a 5-hour drive, please.
Isn't the battery gonna die?
Yeah. And it was always the box on my side that was going off. It wasn't the one on her side at all. And we had other stuff. We had REM pods and
the cat
K2s
did go off.
The cat ball did go off, but that was it.
With some of that.
We also in the auditorium, we were just sitting having a conversation with somebody. I don't even remember who it was, and we had
some of the guests.
We had like a SB7 or something, just kind of going in the background, and all of a sudden it starts like giving clues and stuff, and it's like, wait a minute, did that just say, because it was stuff that was like relevant in our lives at the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, did that just say,
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah.
It was like talking. I related to it.
Yeah, it was like joining the conversation with us. It was almost crazy because we weren't talking haunted anything. We were just having a conversation with these people because they were like from Carroll or Storm Lake or Spirit Lake or something.
Yeah, we kind of had that in Ohio too. When I was with Yvette and Sierra. And again, I don't know why my brain's just mush, but between the two locations we went to in Ohio, one of them, we had Yvette in the mirror room. And it's I described it as a big closet, and it was lined with mirror tiles. And we stuck her in there. It was on Destination Fear.
Yeah, I think that's Fairfield.
Fairfield? Okay, that sounds right. I just didn't want to say the wrong one. But we stuck her in there and we did Estes. And we had Sierra and I were sitting on a bed just outside the room off to the side. So we really couldn't see her. And she had the whole thing on. And we had it floored me. I had this Estes session because every single thing she started getting was just right on. And I was sitting in the other room and started just asking like random questions, like, how many hours did I drive to get here? And she knew it. And I started asking questions about Mark that even the girls didn't even know. And it was answering stuff. And it was so spot on and consistent that at one point I just kind of laughed and I'm like, well, can you tell me what the lottery numbers are? It's like, all this stuff, help me out here. But that was something that was really wild too. I've never experienced an Estes session that strong. It was amazing.
One thing I was thinking of today, so remember back in August when we were at Edinburgh with Aiden and Sandy and all them?
Yeah.
I can't remember. Did you ever tell me when you went downstairs in the basement, did your solo, what you experienced, or I can't remember?
I don't recall. I have been to Edinburgh a few times. One reason stands out is it's the first time I ever heard my name come through a spirit box, which for a big scaredy cat like myself in the beginning was pretty wild and pretty memorable. And then, they talk of the Joker in the basement. I was down there by myself, and I don't remember if it was that time or not, but I felt something messing with my hair. And so then, of course, I'm looking around. Are there spider webs? Are there this? Are there that? And I would move to different areas, and it was in the kitchen area. And then it would happen again. And so I was kind of playing around with that. That was just kind of a weird thing. But Edinburgh, there's a lot of interesting stuff that happens in that basement, in those hallways and stuff.
Yeah, go ahead.
The last time me and Tina were there, we were in the classroom area where they had those beds. Kind of, as you go in the front door, it's to the right, like down at the end of the hallway. There's a big kids' room there.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, we had like a ball would move, and we were getting like knocking. We'd ask questions, once for yes, twice for no, and we were actually getting responses in that room. But other than that, we really didn't get a whole lot that day. But
yeah, and that was a group event too.
Yeah,
I think Edinburgh, to me, it's like it's a different location when it's a big group of people versus a smaller group of people. When you have a smaller, more intimate group at Edinburgh, it's just a different animal. Like it's more eerie, and it I feel like it almost interacts with you even more, where when there's a big event there, which is still very cool and very interesting and fun. And we do have experiences, but it just, I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it shows itself, I guess, as much when there's a bigger group there. That's just my feeling.
Or it's a different entity entirely showing itself.
Yeah.
When there's a smaller group.
That could be.
Yeah, it's still one of my favorite locations, that's for sure.
That's a good one.
Let's see. You've been, if I remember right, you did a road trip out to Nevada, right?
Yes.
To California. Yep.
Let's talk about
that. So this is what happens when you take Tina on road trips. Just FYI, if you ever go on a road trip with Tina, you're gonna stop places,
and it's a lot
and
of fun.
they'll be haunted. So we drove from our home to
San Francisco.
Well, we were going to San Francisco. That was the ultimate destination for the first part of this trip. But we detoured through Tonopah, Nevada, and went to the Clown Motel. We went to Alcatraz. We went to
Queen Mary.
Yeah, that's L.A.
Oh.
Winchester Mystery House. And then we did this. Then we did the Queen Mary. Then we did Zach Baggins Museum.
Yeah, we went through Vegas
in Nevada, and then I don't even remember. There was something else too. But then later that year or the next year, we went with another group, and we went to Salem, Massachusetts, and Gettysburg, and
that was just last fall.
With
Mid-10 Paranormal. I love them guys. So yeah, we've done some interesting things. And Mark was very, very lucky that our timing of hitting the Clown Motel did not lend itself to an overnight stay. Otherwise,
it was close. It was by the time we ended up at our hotel.
There was
after we left
that night.
Tonopah, we were doing maybe 20 miles an hour through the mountains.
Oh, geez.
Could not see more than 3 foot in front of the car. And then we get to the hotel, and it was the only place in town that had power because they had generators. Otherwise, our hotel would have been pitch black, and we wouldn't have been able to stay there.
Mm-hmm. And it was just a little teeny town. It just happened to work well with our route. And when we woke up the next morning, there were still hardly any places in town that had power. Luckily, we were able to get gas, thank God, because we needed gas.
Yeah.
So we were able to do that. And I think there was one little coffee shop by the gas station that had power. Otherwise, they were out.
Yeah. And there was a stretch there. It was 3-4 hours. We didn't see another car on the road.
Yeah.
It was just between the weather and the mountain, and yeah, it was bad. Yeah. But didn't kill us, so we're stronger for it, right? That's how it works.
And you have a nice little clown nose souvenir.
Oh yeah.
Natty wants to see the clown nose, she said.
I don't. No,
she likes clowns.
Oh, yeah. She'd love that place. Love it.
I'll take her there someday.
And the cemetery behind it.
The cemetery is so cool.
Yeah.
It was
that.
really
I mean,
cool.
You don't often see gravestones that old. I mean, there's a lot of history in that area for sure.
Yeah.
Even modern history in that area. You know, they tested atomic bombs, and that's where the B-2 stealth was built and, tested and all that stuff. Interesting.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, we'll
boring.
get there someday.
It is what'd they say? It's the loneliest road in America or something to get there. So yeah, it's pretty much a dead straight shot. You don't see anybody.
You see a tumbleweed every now and then, and that's
it's beautiful, but yeah, it's not a whole lot of. You're not going to get out and sightsee or go shopping. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So, what is that one place you told me about last summer that was, I think it was in Ohio, where there's like the disco bathroom or something? What was that place again?
I probably was referring to Fairfield or Randolph with the closet. The
No, it wasn't like a haunted location.
Oh, yes, it actually was. It was it did have a disco bathroom. I saw it on Pinterest, and luckily I haven't told Mark I would really like one of these, but but it was like a travel stop, and they went into the bathroom, and there was a button that said "push me" or something, and they hit the button, and there was a disco ball in there, and it started spinning, and disco music started playing, and I'm like, you wouldn't get me out of there for a while.
Do you remember where that was?
Part of me wants to say Kentucky, but I don't really remember.
You wouldn't
for
have gone
sure.
through Kentucky though to go to Ohio.
No. we were talking about something else, some other different trip we were kind of looking at. I don't know.
Yeah, because since we're going to be down that area, I want to maybe try to find that and
Maybe it was
bring Chad there, and he can do a disco while he's in the bathroom.
Yeah.
I'll have to look back because I got like, you know, a regular text feed and then our messenger feed and then the Journey to the Haunted feed. I still have them all, so it's like I wouldn't remember where it is in all our conversations.
Hey, I'm sure it's in the women's bathroom only.
Probably.
Well, the girls can go in there.
Those are the kind of things when I'm doing my research that I come across, and I have a small obsession with disco balls, so that was just perfect. But I haven't been there yet.
And she does the small roads. You know, we had to stop at the world's smallest city hall in Maskell on the way this weekend. So
yeah,
it's just stuff.
Yeah,
you know, I've seen the largest painting in Kansas or whatever that
You've
thing is.
seen the world's smallest skyscraper.
Yep, it's world's smallest. Yep, that's down in Texas.
We need a list of all the weird things I've driven
The
to.
largest popcorn ball.
Yeah.
God, all that stuff. Oh, hey, it's only 30 miles out of the way or whatever. It's like, okay, fine.
But
I forget what town it is north of here, but they got the world's largest crow. Yeah, big statue.
God.
Yeah, it's huge.
I have seen the signs for that.
We did one. We ended up down by oh God, what the hell's the name of that monster place that it's in Iowa that you're always talking about?
Oh, the Van Meter monster?
Van Meter. We ended up down by Van Meter, and she found out there was supposed to be a field of sunflowers. So we drove an hour out of the way to go see these sunflowers, and when we got there, they were gone. It was completely harvested, just a big empty field.
Sunflowers.
So
what?
Yeah.
Okay. You know,
You'd be surprised, Natty, how much joy sunflowers can bring to us old folks.
Remember on the way to back in 2020 on the way to
huge field of them,
Rapid City, there was like fields of sunflowers in South Dakota that went on for miles. And of course, you know, who had to pull over to go take pictures?
Grandma Brenda. But that's Grandma Brenda.
No, that was me. I had to stop and take pictures.
No, didn't we take Grandma to South Dakota once?
No.
What? Yes, we did.
We took Grandma to South Dakota?
Yes, we did.
When?
I swear we did.
No, I think we talked about that.
Yeah.
We went crazy. Okay, I'm tired.
We went when we were going to Winnipeg a few years back, when we were coming back from North Dakota, there were huge fields of sunflowers.
Yeah.
I need to stop. I want to stop. It's like I am not stopping in some random guy's farm so you can take pictures of sunflowers.
Nothing
like they
wrong
do
with
a
that.
thing in Kansas every year. Just find out when it is, we'll go. And every year she finds out when it is, and then something else comes up, and we never make it.
We did go to one, though. I found one.
Yeah, last year we did finally make
Was
it
in
to
Nebraska?
one. Yeah, down in Omaha.
Yeah, down by Omaha, and we went. And so I finally got my sunflower fix, and so now I'm good.
Yeah, take that off the list now.
Until the next time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be another field of something.
So speaking of lists, but not really lists, what do you guys have in store for this year?
This year, like last year, I went hard last year. I literally broke myself down to where I got back from Ohio in December, and I just kind of crashed, and it took me about 3 weeks to kind of even feel like myself again, just because I had run myself kind of ragged. Just out doing all this paranormal stuff. I loved every minute of it and everybody I met, but I just kind of was like, okay, I hit my max and it wore me out. So this year I'm kind of stepping back a little bit, but we do have some really good collabs coming up. We just did something with you guys, and then I'm meeting up with Haunting Angels are coming out, and we're doing it will be my first time doing an overnight at the Sally House in Atchison. So I'm excited. I've been there during the day a few times, but I've never done an overnight. The last time we drove by the Sally House, there was a ginormous black snake crawling up the side of the building. So I'm a little freaked out.
Never mind. I'm not jealous anymore.
But we're doing that, and we're doing the 1889 McIntyre Villa. And then with a Gypsy Witch Paranormal, Charity and Michelle out of Sioux Falls, we are doing Velisca and Malvern. And we're meeting up Gray Duck finally. We're going to get to meet those guys. We're doing Malvern Manor 2 nights in a row. I'm super excited about that. I've never done Malvern 2 nights in a row that I remember anyways. So I think that'll be a really cool experience because I know that place is active during the day, and it's just going to be a really interesting one there. And we're going to be back at McIntyre in May with Mid-10 Paranormal and New Star events for 2 back-to-back overnight investigations. There are tickets available for that still at New Star Events Company. If anybody watching is interested in that, it is definitely going to be a lot of fun. Mid-10 is amazing and super fun. So it's going to be a great night. I'm excited for those 2. And then next weekend, we're going to McIntyre. With one of our friends we met through our Etsy store. Actually, these other girls I've met through Etsy too. It's been so crazy how that's all worked for us. But we're doing McIntyre, and then we're going to tour the Glore Psychiatric Museum. That's in St. Joe. We're going to do that. We're going to do another little day thing at the Sally House in Atchison, and then we're going to do Beatty Mansion in St. Joe. And I think as of now, that's probably all we're kind of doing for the year. But I have some wiggle rooms. Maybe some things will pop up or something.
Yeah, and you got your revenge date set.
I do. That I'm not revealing when, where, why, or how.
No, I'm just not gonna go on any more investigations this year. I'm done. First location of the year, or like last location of the year.
Just know she won't be at Waverly.
Well, we've already set it in motion at the first, so you might as well go to the rest of them. It's already been set in motion.
I don't have to. No one says I have to go.
Well, I'll just put it this way. I'll give you a little more leeway. It has nothing to do with our June road trip. So those locations are all safe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what you're telling me is I can go on the June road trip and no other locations. Got it. Thank you. Unless you're lying to me.
But that's still a lot of locations.
You know what? I'm not going on June road trip either because he could be lying to me. I don't trust anybody at this point.
We got a lot of stuff coming up in June.
Yeah.
I don't trust anybody.
But she could pay somebody else off to actually do it.
See, that's why I'm done investigating.
I did.
It could be your own mother who's in the other room.
She's actually upstairs making pizza.
No, she's actually in there watching TV. But it could be her. Tina could have reached out to her and paid her off.
Okay.
You never know.
I mean, Tina and Marcus are dynamic people. It could happen anytime. It could happen tonight.
Yeah.
We have connections.
We have a lot of friends.
It could happen when you go up to your bedroom in like 20 minutes. Something could have come through a portal.
Okay. I
could come through a portal.
Because we got 2.
Take it with me.
I could. It'd be
I've not been to a portal yet.
Please.
Journey into the Haunted is not selling portals.
It would be a mirror closet like in Ohio playing disco music, and I would just come through the portal.
No. Not yet.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't feel safe.
You should feel safe.
I live with you. I never feel safe.
You're good.
Thanks a lot.
I'm sitting next to you.
So for your guys' store, any fun new equipment, little knickknacks coming out this year?
You didn't have any in here. We have currently the newest stuff we have is
our little
cryptid cuties or whatever she's calling them, but we don't have any here on right now to show you. And I can't get up or I'd go grab one.
Yeah, you're kind of like
I'm pinned in here.
You're pinned in here. You can do these and I'll go find a couple of them.
Yeah, so I mean we'll start with our music boxes and stuff.
Let's do a quick little
quick. So anyway, currently we've got our music box. You guys know what that is.
Yep.
Yeah.
But we can do customizations on all of our equipment. We can either do embossed, so it's kind of inlaid a little bit, or I can actually do up to 8 colors and put your logo flush on the top like this one is. And just the simple stuff. It's got an infrared sensor, text motion, plays creepy little music. The sensor is 1 to 15 meters distance, and then the angle is up to 120 degrees from the cone. So I mean, it catches a pretty wide spread.
It does.
This is just our where's the camera? This is our REM pod. It's got a detachable antenna. Pretty standard. You can lay it on its end. You can lay it flat. However, pretty small, compact, easy to transport.
I love the plug-in feature of the antenna. I love that about it.
That was my request, because I always say, like, come 2, 3 in the morning when I'm ready to leave, I'm just a disaster. I'm so tired. I just swoop in, grab everything, and throw it. Kind of. I'm horrible. So all of our stuff has to be kind of rugged to pass the Tina test. But so many people have REM pods that the antennas get broken off of, or they get bent all wild and crazy. So I really like that.
Loose.
Yep. And then our newest equipment is our EVP burst box. So essentially what this is, it is a EVP recorder, but it's only 120 seconds, and it doesn't actually store the EVP. So what you do is it's to supplement your other recorder. So like if you have another recorder or a camera or something running, this is just for like real-time EVP sessions. So you push the button and record, ask your questions, and then when you release the button, it stops recording, and then you can play it back immediately. Push the button and record, ask your questions. It's got a volume control on it, so you can turn it up. So like after you ask your question, you can kind of crank it and listen for a response or anything. And if you do catch something, you can record it on another device. When you do hit the record button again, it essentially erases what you had. And we actually have had fairly decent luck with this. The first time we actually took it out, we were at the tunnel in Glore
Psychiatric Museum
in St. Joe, and we were just sitting there having a conversation, and Tina was holding the button, and she's just said something about I'm getting really uncomfortable. I feel like somebody's behind me. And then she like released the button and hit play, and you could hear a breath clear as day after she said that on the recorder.
It was a big one too.
Yeah.
It's creepy.
One of the other new pieces of stuff that we've got these, it's a cat ball stand. You just put 2 cat balls on it, and this actually glows in the dark. It's yes and no, and they do your sessions or whatever with that, flash yes, flash no kind of thing. These have been actually really popular.
Yeah.
I'm sure they have.
Yeah.
And now the newest stuff we have are these little cryptid guys. This one is Krampus.
He's my favorite, I think.
Then we got the Flatwood Monster. And then the Loch Ness Monster. He's the newest, second newest one that we got out. And then the one we started with was the Mothman.
He's the most popular. Everybody loves Mothman.
And then the most recent one that we've got out is the Grim Reaper.
I think, Matthew, that was even at your request, if I recall.
And then we'll end up having him, instead of being purple and teal and whatever, he'll be black and white.
Black, white, gray.
Probably. And gray, yeah.
Yeah.
We're in the middle of printing a bunch of custom order stuff for somebody, so we don't have time to get the black, white, and gray running, but we'll have one shortly.
And he's got a list of projects and things that people have said, hey, do you think you could make this? And we've just been so busy, and we did a big Paracon and stuff, so we haven't had a lot of time to really sit and tinker with stuff. But he does have a list. We do take requests for things, whether it's something we can do or not. We don't know, but we'll give it a shot and see what we can do.
I know what Natty wants to do.
I'm scared.
She wants to do an overnight investigation, just her and Marcus.
When did
Do I get to pick the place?
Yes.
Piece of cake.
That'd be a
It
good
won't
one.
be any fun.
Piece of cake.
You guys got this.
I have
Yeah,
to
yeah.
like the boring guy.
The
Why
boring
can't I-
guy.
Yeah, he's
Boring guy. Well,
Yeah, why can't I go with someone?
I'm sorry. If you think I'm boring, you won't like when I pick you up in my car.
Hopefully, in another week or two, we'll be able to whip the cover off that baby.
Oh,
She's been sitting too long. This
Cooped
winter.
up. Yeah.
Mother Nature just keeps toying with us.
I know.
We busted our convertible out one day, went for a convertible ride, and then
2 days later, you got 4 inches of snow on the
Yeah.
ground. Yeah.
So,
All right. Question for each of you. Bucket list location.
You go first.
That means I have to think of something.
Yeah. Do you want me to go first?
Yes.
Mine changes constantly because I'm, learning of different places and stuff. But the last time somebody asked this, I went blank, and I think I said, what did I say? It was Penhurst, which is definitely a place I would like to go. But Trans-Allegheny right now, that is I would love to go there if we're talking places, like in the U.S. That's where I would really like to get to at one point.
Yeah. Honestly, I'd like to go to Scotland, overseas somewhere, and do like those old castles. And,
Yeah.
He was born in Germany. And that's been something that's been kind of on both of our bucket list, is someday we want to get to Germany and kind of see the area where he's from. And I was a music buff in school, and I took music theory and all of that stuff and really dug into old classical things. And I've always just been drawn to Mozart if we're going way back. But there's, again, I'm going blank, but where he's from in Germany, Austria and Vienna, that area, I would love to just get in there and see some of that stuff.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that would be my list. I'd like to see some old castles and
Yeah. What about you guys? Where's your?
I have mine.
Go ahead.
Okay, you may go first.
The Winchester Mystery House.
it's a good choice.
Mm-hmm.
That place is awesome.
It's
Birthday
beautiful.
boy. You're next.
No pressure.
I think he forgot his birthday.
Oh, me?
Yeah. You're the birthday boy.
Trans-Allegheny.
I thought he fell asleep there for a minute.
I did too. I'm like, I just,
Oh, I thought you
Did the camera freeze? Just hold still. Nobody will know.
They finally got to him after last night.
Yeah.
Oh, so first I'd have to say my
Chad's
German
not gonna
teacher.
answer?
I guess it's Laurel's birthday now.
My German teacher he said Trans-Allegheny.
Oh, he did. Okay, I didn't hear.
Yeah,
him.
yeah. My German teacher would probably haunt me if I didn't say Österreich ist nicht auf Deutschland. Österreich ist Österreich.
I have no idea. I understood Germany.
Germany.
I took 2 years of German in school. I couldn't tell you other than Doomkolp for nothing good.
Yeah, he remembers the things that aren't so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was actually born there. We came back to the States before I was even 1 year old. So
Okay.
Army brat. So
Sure.
I don't know any German other than what I took in school, and that didn't get retained.
Yeah,
So.
it didn't stick.
Yeah. So my dream location is an impossible location. It's at the bottom of Lake Superior, where the Edmund Fitzgerald sank.
Oh, yeah.
So that would really take some doing.
Oh, yeah, it would.
Scuba gear and yeah. Maybe you should get a hold of Ballard. Maybe he can make that happen. The guy that went to the Marianas Trench and discovered Titanic and make a film about it.
And for me, my location is also starting to get to be a little impossible, but not as impossible as Laurel's. Sweet Springs. So
Is that the
hopefully-
one there that's rumored to maybe be closing or something? I don't remember what.
Yeah, as of right now, it is indefinitely closed because the owner passed away in November. So that whole location is in flux.